Chaos, apathy, lack of direction, lack of purpose, and Nehemiah faced a tremendous challenge of rebuilding the wall and the gates of Jerusalem. Can you imagine how he felt walking around the wall of his community there? Can you imagine how overwhelming that must have been? Perhaps you can. Perhaps that's the condition of your ministry today. Or perhaps your ministry just feels like it just needs a little minor rebuild, or maybe you have things feeling like it's pretty good, but if you could just get those last couple things in place, right? Let's face it, we're all in some form of rebuilding today. And if we're going to rebuild or restart, why not use a biblical model? Hi, my name is Joe Chenoweth, and for the last 20 years, I've been working with organizations and ministries and churches of how to build teams, how to build mission communities. I work for a ministry called Young Life, which is youth outreach ministry. I'm an area developer for them. I also work for a mission support organization called Perception Funding. I work in their partner care team, and we provide care and help for their 90-plus ministry partners. And 7 years ago, I was invited into one of those Young Life areas, one of those local areas who had direct ministry going on great. The ministry to kids and their leaders, that was fine. But everything else around it was not in good shape. The adult support team, what was going on with the community, things like that were just kind of dysfunctional, really, probably at best. And the area director at the time felt like she was probably going to have to step out of the job she was in because of the mess that was going on. So I was invited into that area to see if I might be able to help them out. And we just went in and started thinking, if we were rebuilding this as a business, what questions would we ask? And so we looked at, do we have job descriptions? Do people have roles? Do people know what they're supposed to do when they come around this ministry? Are we inviting new people in? Are we training well? None of those things were in place. And so we started to do them. We started to ask some different questions. We started to ask more clear questions and inviting new people in and around the table. And within 12 months, we really had rebuilt that ministry, that it was in a healthy place. And over the next 3 years, I was invited into other Young Life areas to do something similar. And what I saw was, no matter the area, no matter the size of the community, whether it's rural or urban, small or large, there was this similar theme of issues that were going on. There's a tendency for leaders to work with a team of helpers instead of mission community. And what I mean by that is 2 or 3 people can come together and make it happen. And they can do that for quite a while until somebody gets worn out or somebody needs to move on, versus engaging the mission community, the larger body of Christ around us. I saw also that we weren't doing a good job of training the next person up, not really on the staff side of it, but people that were leading a team. We weren't training the next person to step in so that our teams would be sustainable and healthy. I saw that we were inviting people to teams without knowing what we were inviting them to do. And when we did invite, we didn't ask in a really clear way. So we threw out this kind of wide open, fluffy invitation that we thought would be more open, and we found out to be the opposite. The more clear, the more specific that we can be in our ask, the more likely people are to say yes. I saw that we weren't reaching the furthest out, adult or volunteer. We weren't reaching that second or third layer out of people that could come and bring their gift to the table to be a part of the ministry. Because we were working from that team of helpers model, we weren't even looking up to see if there was others in the room to be able to help. I saw that leadership, whether it was an area director and a committee chair or the pastor and maybe the elder chair, they were just kind of walking from opposite sides of the same road. There wasn't anything conflicting in the leadership. They just weren't together. They didn't communicate well. They didn't communicate regularly. And what that did is that left people out. People didn't know who was leading and where they were going. And because of this, they were in survival mode, not growth and development mode. And about that time, I had several people come to me that mentioned the book of Nehemiah. And so the Lord opened my eyes to Nehemiah. And as I stepped into it and started to read a little bit there, and I looked at chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, where Nehemiah is saying, he's asking his buddies, how's it going back home? And they say, not good. People are there. Life is happening. Life is going on. But the wall is down. The gates are burnt. Many translations say they were in disgrace. People are in survival mode. And when I read that, it was a clear mental picture of all the Young Life areas that I had been working with. And so I dug into the book of Nehemiah and started looking at what was in there for us. And I found a template and a model for building and rebuilding. And we started this slow process that we began to build this thing called Walking the Walls that we now have. Walking the Walls is a biblically based relational process that's designed to help you take a walk around your ministry or team, help you understand how to create the next clear steps, how to build healthy teams, and how to develop your volunteer mission community. We've now worked with more than 30 Young Life areas, a dozen other nonprofits, and a handful of churches, finding good traction and helping them understand how to build these teams and engage more people into the ministry work they have. So if your ministry, your team, your organization, your church has any or all of the issues that I described, or if you just need a little strategic help, or if you're in full-on survival mode, maybe it's time to consider walking the walls. I'd love to take a walk with you and your team around your ministry wall and look at beginning to start to rebuild what's going on there. To learn more about this, just visit our website, walkingthewalls.org. Thanks for your time.